Hey everybody, I'm Samar Shah from Digit. I'm a product manager here actually. I'm recovering from operations. Started off a long time ago in that role and have made it over all the way into focus on product. And so what I wanted to talk about today is to go deeper into Digit itself and talk about how we've started the company out with financial health and financial inclusion from the top and talk about how that's actually influenced our product roadmap, how we've made decisions along the way in developing the product itself. And share a little bit of that with you all. To start off with, just to say, what is Digit? Digit is actually a team of 40 of us just down in Financial District building this product towards financial health. And so I think everyone else has made the recruiting pitch. I'll just start off with it shamelessly, which is that we are hiring engineers and product folks and basically everyone as well. So please come to me later or email me or get my contact info, and I would love to talk to you if you're interested in joining us on this journey. So to start off with, I think I don't need to share stats with this room in particular about why Americans are not financially healthy, but I do want to point them out here because this is where we start every conversation, everything we're thinking about. What do we do next? Where do we make trade-offs? Is we ground ourselves in the problem we have at hand here, which is starting with savings in particular. Most people, especially the younger folks in our country, don't save. And the point here is not to get super depressed about all of these stats, but to just get realistic about where we're starting with here. And so financial health is a great place to go, but we are always holding ourselves realistic about where our customer is starting off from. And so when we look at things like millennials are not saving at all, when we look at 60% of Americans aged 18 to 44 have saved nothing, we ground ourselves in that reality and think about what can we build to start moving the needle towards that. The eventual goal is financial health, but how can we start our customers down the path towards that? And so it starts with our mission, which is to make financial health effortless for everyone. I will say, in a little aside here, this has been our mission basically from the start. But 6 months ago, we actually did a whole process, which I'm sure a lot of you have been through, around what's our core values, what's our mission, should we update it? I just wanted to let you all know, I'm sure some of you can share a chuckle with this. We ended up, after spending 2 or 3 meetings, a lot of hours together as a team, we ended up saying, our mission statement's actually just fine as it is. Lots of ideas, lots of great debate back and forth, and we ended up right where we started, which is, I think, a good outcome for us. But the specific point here, because a lot of folks have talked about financial health, a lot of folks have talked about how that's their goal. For us, the specific thing here is effortless, and we think that's because 2 reasons. 1, we think that is what's critical to make Americans financially healthy, but 2, it's because that's what we want ourselves. We talk about the 40 people that are working on this here. We want to wake up in a world where this is effortless, and it is. We don't believe ourselves that we should be the best at becoming financially healthy. We want it to be the default. That if we're good at our jobs, if we're good at living as citizens, as folks in society, that our society and our products and the people that are out there looking out for us are going to help us become financially healthy. So what is our approach to doing that? We think of it as 2 principles at the top. We think that Digit should always be automated and Digit should always be approachable. And so when we started Digit, we built it with the idea of what was a way to solve that savings problem, the fact that no one saves, in the most automated and approachable way we could. And so these 3 steps have literally been our FAQ and at different points in time, actually our front page for Digit. Throughout basically Digit's history, and they still stand true today, which is it's as simple as this: 1, 2, 3. The first step our users do is they connect their bank account. When they connect their bank account, they're sharing a bunch of data with us that we are then going and analyzing to make decisions for our users. Specifically, what is the perfect amount of money that we can set aside for you each day? And then finally, users at any point in time can check back in and get access to their savings and have it available for them the next day. While their money is sitting with Digit, it's FDIC insured and it's earning 1% as well in terms of a savings bonus. So that's the basics really of how Digit works. To get a little bit under the hood here for all of you, how does Digit actually save? What we're doing is looking at using the checking account as a window into your financial life. And so we're understanding patterns going on in terms of income as well as cash flow. And as much as we can predict those into the future, we're understanding each day what is going to happen to your cash flow. And using that to then decide how much can we save for you on a given day. Then the question may come up, what are folks actually saving for? What are they using their digit savings for? And so this ranges, but for the most part for our users, the top trends are one, they're saving for something unexpected in the future, so really saving for a rainy day. Unexpected emergency expense, typically travel, typically health-related or car-related. They're also saving to get out of debt. And so that can be credit cards, student loans, and so on. Those are the most common. And then they're saving for happier expenses as well, for travel, as well as for gifts or purchases for their friends and family. Taking a look at our customers in more detail, who are our customers? Who uses Digit today? Our customers are, as you might expect, more squarely millennial. Most of our customers fall within the age ranges of 20 and 35. Most of our customers are also urban, living in some of the major cities around the country, but that is really all the major cities, not just coastal. It's really across the South, the Midwest, and so forth. And then our customers are actually more likely to be female. So it's actually creeped up basically every year. We look at every 6 months we look at the data to the point now where it's over 60% of our customer base is female. And then from an economic perspective, our customer base is pretty squarely middle income. Median income pre-tax is 60K, and most of our customers tend to have some form of debt. So about 2/3 of our customers have some form of high interest debt load as well that they're carrying. And so what have we done so far on the savings problem? We've saved over $1 billion for our customers across the U.S. With this simple product. And for a typical customer on an individual basis, what that looks like is if you've been on Digit and you stay on Digit for a year, on average you'll have saved $2,500 with Digit as a product. And so we take most of our customers coming to us, and most of them come to us, and they're either in a place where they haven't been able to save consistently or they haven't been able to save at all, and we've been able to help them with that problem. As we look at how that's influenced our design of our product going forward, we've focused on building the design of the product going forward in two specific areas. One, how do we make the experience even easier for people to solve that core need of saving and accessing their savings? And two, how do we serve the future product roadmap that we have ahead of us? So when you look at our product experience now today, one little piece of history, as some of you who have been following us may know, when we first started, Digit actually didn't have any user interface at all. It was a completely SMS-based experience in which customers could basically text back and forth with Digit to get what they needed. We've redesigned that experience from the ground up earlier this year so that all of the features around our savings experience are at our customers' hands, while still keeping the most important message simple and upfront for our users when they log in for the first time for each session they come in. When we look ahead, this new app experience allows us to serve a richer experience for our customers and take on more of what they want. So we now have, for the first time in our experience, a place where users are able to actually tell Digit what they want to achieve more broadly with their savings. And so on the left-hand side is our suggested goals experience, where we're essentially giving folks an idea, curating for them what are top types of savings goals they can actually go and achieve with Digit. Users can then click in and, using our user interface, actually understand and manage that in a more granular way if they need to. And then looking ahead, what this has allowed us to do is build on top of the savings experience and basically take the idea that our customers are coming to us, and when they're starting to save with us, they're expressing intent about getting financially healthy. And savings, we think, setting aside a small amount of savings is a great first step for almost any area in which a customer wants to become more financially healthy, but it's not the end goal, and we can't just get them there with saving. And so these are two examples of where we started to extend our product roadmap out and our product experience for our users to get us closer to that eventual goal of making people financially healthy. And so one example here on the left-hand side is building on the fact that our users were using Digit to set aside a rainy day pocket of money for unexpected things that may come up down the road. We realized we could build on top of that by making sure that if we saw that things were getting very close in their bank account, but they were running pretty close to the level that they thought was no longer safe, that we could move money back to their account, back to their checking account with savings. And so that is what we built in what we call the low balance protection feature. On the right-hand side is an example of our experience around credit card debt reduction. And so this is an experience built off of the fact that customers were coming to us, an overwhelming amount of them were using their Digit savings to set aside for credit card debt, to make an extra debt payment, or to actually try to get going forward on their full plan to get out of debt completely. And so what we said is we were actually making them do work because we were helping them set aside the money, but then they had to take it out and then they had to go and make that extra payment. And our customers said that that was one of the least adrenaline-inducing things you can do, is make a credit card payment yourself. And so we said we should take that out. And so credit card debt reduction on Digit looks like this. We think it's one of the easiest ways to get out of credit card debt. You start saving for credit card debt, and then Digit will basically just start paying it off for you on the right interval that we think is optimal for getting you out of debt. And then I'll just share a little bit more in terms of what our team is working on, especially on the technical side, the types of problems that we're trying to solve. All of this requires a lot of product and engineering work, a lot of hard product engineering work, a lot of failures, as well as the successes that you'll actually see in our actual product experience. And so these include, from a user experience perspective, finding the happy medium between our users' actual aspirations and what is reality. And so if our customers come to us and say they wanted to get a debt tomorrow, that may not be realistic. It's actually most likely not realistic. And so we have to figure out, how do we balance what they view themselves and what their goals are and what's actually realistic. And often that means figuring out things really in the granular detail of copy, of the way that the actual UI is set up, the way the buttons are set up, just to make it really gets into that level of detail to make this thing as accessible and approachable, but still inspirational for folks to go forward. Yeah, and then I think other folks have talked a lot about automation, so I won't talk as much there. But I think on the infrastructure side, I think there is so much that goes on underneath this in terms of being able to make sure that we have ongoing access to real-time data, legible and accurate data, as well as being able to have ongoing access to moving money, maintaining money while not being a bank ourselves. And so all of that becomes massive infrastructure issues, really challenging and interesting infrastructure issues that our small, lean, but really incredibly talented engineering team all manage for us. Yeah, so that's it. Open it up to any questions.
Hello? Okay. Hi, I think your very last bullet there talked about using machine learning to predict users' financial future. Can you talk about how you guys or folks at Digit think about collecting additional input from the user, for example, future life events, unexpected, things coming up versus truly automated, predictions based solely on something like machine learning?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think like a specific example of this would be with our credit card debt reduction product. There's a version of this that we'd love to have, which is really as simple as you press a button and then we start doing everything for you. And then there's a version where we actually ask a lot of questions and figure out get a lot of input from you on what the right debt payoff plan is. The right answer is somewhere in between there, and the right answer is different for each user as well, which makes this a very complicated problem to solve. And so the way and I will just say, we have not solved this yet. We're still in there. If anyone, again, recruiting pitch, anyone has great ideas, come and help us, because we know this is one of the hardest problems we have to deal with. But our general principle for this is to default on, which is to build a product that with as few touches as possible will start getting you out, getting you out of debt. And that's really what our core product does. And then the idea is that we know our users have more information they want to share with us. And some of them are willing to share that information right up front, and some of them need more time to share that. And so we'll allow that stuff to be optional for users to add on over time as well. And so one tactical example of this is with our goals experience here. When you click on one of these here, put student loans behind me, the next step is actually an opportunity to share more information. How much? When do you want to get out of this? But we made that optional. And so a user can actually just press one more button and then just set it and forget it and start having savings set aside towards student loan debt. But other users may have more information they want to share at that point in time. That's great. We may also surface this at another point in the user's life cycle when we think that's a good time to get more information as well.
Hello. So my question is around change of behavior. So I've seen some other companies that are doing savings that they are trying to help the customer to learn how to save and to induce a good behavior around that, maybe with some rewards or making it fun. And that approach is kind of trying to make the person more responsible about managing their own finances. But these approaches, the other trend is around effortless, right? You don't worry, you don't think about it, we'll do it for you. So why did you decide to go this trend, the second one, and what are your thoughts about the first one type of service?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think in particular, when I talk to, we get a lot of feedback, and it's a lot of really helpful feedback from folks who are deep in the financial literacy, financial education curriculum, and talk about all the work that it is to behaviorally transform someone from where they are to becoming a saver. And I think we've learned a lot about that along the way. When we first started, we said, let's just build a product that will do step one, let's start saving for you, because we thought that was the easiest way to get there. And we've learned along the way that our users, even though we're doing the work and we're automating the work, it's a partnership. The user is choosing every day to use Digit. The user is choosing every day to monitor and see what's going on, and we're celebrating with them because we want them to be along the journey to realize that they're getting from where they were to becoming a saver as well. It's just that the heavy lifting, the day-to-day manual work that it comes with saving, and especially saving for someone who is living either paycheck to paycheck or living in a cash flow negative at times situation, it is very difficult to do. We don't expect that it's going to work unless that is default on and automated for you. And so it's really the idea of like differentiating between the hard work, the hard manual rote work, and the mental and behavioral component of becoming a saver and feeling like a saver and making decisions on an ongoing basis. We think we can get the best of both of those. Although I totally there's trade-offs there, but we believe what we've built is the happy medium where our users they don't have to the mundanity of saving is not actually the blocker for them to becoming a saver, and at the same time they're actually still if we talk to our users, they do feel transformed in terms of becoming they view themselves as someone who can save now. It's a very common theme we get from our users when we talk to them is I used to be someone who couldn't save and now I am someone who does. It's not the most groundbreaking thing, but it really speaks to all of our users. So.
Thank you, Samar.
Cool. Thanks, everybody.
Applause.